Okay, it says we are live. Hello there. How's everyone today? Welcome, welcome. I am back at it here today with, I don't know if anybody's noticed, but I kind of changed the name of this show or whatever it is that you want to call it. I don't care. It was the interview, and I've changed that to just a chat. Okay, interview sounds way too formal for me. And basically, that's all we're here for is just a chat. But I am Lisa Marie, and I have someone here with me every single Tuesday at this time. Okay, I bring in people that are making a difference in the world. Their purpose is to leave an impact, and they are. That's exactly what they are doing. So I bring them here so that we can, just make them feel special. Uh, Give him the stage. We can brag on him. He can brag on himself a little bit. And today is no different. So this gentleman is an author, he's a speaker, and he is a poet. In fact, his nickname is Feel Good Poet because that's what he does. He leaves everybody feeling really good. So, through his books, his talks, and his poetry, he helps people live a life that they are madly in love with. So, please help me welcome Feel Good Poet Darshan Gabriel Shanti.
Yay! Well, thank you for that. I've been interviewed lots and lots and lots of times, and I always appreciated it. It's such an honor to be asked to be on someone's show and to share it with their audience, because that means that something I've done or said or shared or written, some form or another, has made an impact on you. And so it is truly my honor to be here. Thank you so much for having me, Lisa.
You're welcome. You're welcome. So tell us, how did you get started? First of all, I want to tell everybody, or you can tell them, Darshan writes a poem every single day of the year. How did you get started doing that? And how long has that been going on? And how difficult is that?
Well, that's three questions. How long's it been going on? I've been writing poems since I was, around 18, 19 years old. 17, I guess you could originally say. I just decided at the end of last year that I was going to write a brand new inspirational poem every day and post it on Facebook. And that's what I have done. Occasionally I go live and I recite a poem because so many people have said, hey, when you recite them, it just has a whole different feel to it. Because, I know where the emphasis is. I know what I'm trying to say. So that's been going on. Today's day 219. So that's been 219 days in the year that I've written a brand new inspirational poem. I've written over 2,000 poems for just about every single occasion you can think of. And of course, custom poems. When people want me to write a custom poem, I do that for whatever occasion they want. Businesses hire me to have me write a poem for them. Here's what it is. It's not really a poem. Yes, it's a poem. Yes, it rhymes, but it's more than that. It's a comprehensive, catchy marketing message that captures the essence, paints a picture, and tells a story of the actual people behind the business. So that when the customer reads the poem, they go, wow. And they want to, not that they want to, they pick up the phone and they call that business to find out more and or to do business with them. Because I don't just write roses are red, violets are blue. I go to this business and you should too.
I like that.
It's cool. Very detailed where they give me specifics. They fill out a whole couple of pages of information about what they want in the poem. And we really capture everything that sets them apart
so they
from their competition.
they give you all the things that they want you to have in there, and then you just kind of form it for them.
Yes, I don't just kind of, I sit with it for sometimes hours a day, sometimes days, just to really feel. And then the communication goes back and forth between me and the client. And then I get it and I start to write it. And then it comes more clear, more clear. And then all of a sudden, like I just know that it's done. And I contact them and said, your poem's done. I share it with them. And I can't tell you how many people have said they are absolutely blown away because what I did far surpassed what they expected.
Interesting. So
Yeah, so that's what I do for businesses. Yeah.
yeah, okay, and that's what I was going to ask you because you said marketing and you said businesses. So are you out there creating little jingles for the?
You know, I don't, yes and no.
Okay.
I do the lyrical stuff. I don't do the musical stuff.
Okay. All right.
I'm not a musician, and so I just don't bother doing that. But I create catchy taglines that people remember, like a cleaning company. Although this didn't rhyme, it'll give you an example. I said, we clean so your business will shine.
Oh, cute. Yeah.
It's that kind of thing. Or an education company I had once, I came up with the tag, education is priceless. We help make it affordable. So
Very
it's
good.
things like that. Or I can make anything rhyme. It doesn't matter. I'm just saying I can come up with anything
Sure.
at
That's
all
pretty
that I need to come up with.
I think
And
that's
I
a
can
cool thing that to have on
and
your
I can
side.
do it quickly for people because I have been given a gift. I have been blessed with the gift, with the ability to write, to be creative, and to put the words and the phrases together in such a way that it's, as I said, memorable, catchy, and also sticky. In other words, it
Okay.
sticks with people.
Yeah,
Does that
for
make sense?
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, like keep your place clean, let it shine, whatever. Like you
Yeah,
said,
we clean so your business will shine. I want, because if it's not sticky, in other words, if it doesn't stay with the person, if it's not memorable, what's the point?
right.
When I write a poem for a person, for a wedding, an anniversary, whatever, I've had so many husbands tell me their wives. One guy said his wife cried for 3 days. She was so touched by the poem. Whether it's for graduations, for whatever, your son, daughter graduating, whatever it is, I'm there. And when I write them, again, I find out what's important to the mother about about her son or about her daughter. And I include those words and phrases. Everything has to be personable, has to be memorable, and it has to be real, relevant, and right. And
Mm-hmm.
of course it does. I'm not going to write about stuff. I write pet memorials for
Right.
people when their pets have died.
Oh wow.
You know, and I include the picture of, if it's a couple, I include the picture. If it's about a pet, I include the picture of the pet. Whatever it is that the person needs me to do, I can do.
That
That's
is
why I
so
love doing what I do.
that is so personable. I love that.
Thank
I love
you.
that. Yeah, that is very, very cool. And
Thank
yeah, it's
you.
got to be specific to the person, otherwise it probably wouldn't mean much, right?
Right. Of course it's specific. I say that because I've had interesting questions that people have asked.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm going to make it so like people are like, oh my God, this is like you read my mind. And I'm like, no, you told me. And I just have the ability to craft it. I'll give you, for instance, a gym asked me to write a poem, and they had 9 specific tenets that the gym ran off of. And I had to include each of the 9 things in the poem.
Okay.
And it's that kind of thing. Or a home inspector asked me to write a marketing poem for him. And all of the certifications he had and all this stuff I had to include. And I did. I've had poems for mechanics, for realtors, for insurance agents. Just, you name it, I can write it. For car cleaning stuff, it's amazing, because anything that has to be written can be rhymed, and I'll find a way to do it so it makes you shine.
I just might have to challenge you before we're done here today. So how difficult is it for you to maintain putting that poem out there every single day? And you have for 212 days, right?
200. Yeah, I think today's what, the 8th. So today's day 220. So
220.
where does it come from? So most of my poems that I just post are uplifting, inspiring, transformational, motivational, that kind of thing in nature. So I have studied personal development for well over 20 years. I've given so many talks, over 1,100 talks, talked to over 30,000 people. I've read so many books I can't even count. So look, some word or phrase will come to me, or I'll see a post on Facebook and it'll say something, and I'll go, I could write a poem about that. Or I'll see a personal development video, or a video on TikTok or on Instagram, and it'll give me an idea. Or else, and this is even more important, what I do is I go inside, because I get a lot of my poetry from the experiences that I am going through.
Mm-hmm.
So today's poem, which I have not posted yet, is about, because I committed to run a marathon. And I was thinking about this. When is the marathon? Well, the actual date of the marathon versus when the marathon is are completely different. Now, what do I mean by that? The marathon happened this morning when I ran 6.2 miles. The marathon happened on Sunday when I ran 10.2 miles. The marathon happens when I ride my bike to get my legs, exercise different muscles, when I bike 35 miles. The point is, the marathon happens the moment you make the decision that you're going to do it. And then a decision, this is very interesting. And again, this is what the poem's about. When you make a decision, it's like an incision, because you're cutting off the options of the choices you have. That's what decide means. It means to kill or to cut off. If you look at the word suicide or pesticide or homicide or genocide, they all mean to kill. And decide is the same thing. It means to kill or to cut off. So when you decide something, you're killing or cutting off options.
Mm-hmm.
And so I made a decision that I was going to run a marathon. There was nothing else. That's when the marathon was run.
Sure.
The day I made the decision.
Mm-hmm.
The day you make a decision to change your life is the day it changes.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And then every single day, when you recommit, committing is an all or nothing thing. If I said to you, be 99% committed to standing up, what would you be doing?
Standing up?
No, you wouldn't.
No.
If I said to you, be 99% committed to standing, that means you're 100% committed to sitting. Commitment is an all or nothing game.
Gotcha.
You can't be partially committed.
Mm-hmm.
You're either going to do it or you're not. And that's the thing. When you make a decision, you're cutting off all the other options, every single one of them.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a distinction there. When you have everybody has choices every day, and people mix up choices and decisions all the time. Let me explain the difference as I see it, and you can look it up, and I hope anybody who listens to this will take this on. Choices are simply options to pick from. Like last night, you went out and had a hamburger, right? But you could have gone for Italian food. You could have gone for Chinese food. You could have gone for anything you wanted, right?
Sure.
But you picked out, those were your choices.
Mm-hmm.
Italian, Chinese, whatever, Vietnamese, it doesn't matter. Or American, and you picked American. when you picked American, that was a decision. So you first have the choice, then you cut off all the choices with a decision. And you make that decision, and then all the other choices are gone, and you went and had hamburger. And I made the decision to run a marathon. And so there was no other choice. It was done that day.
Right.
And
Yeah.
I made a decision to write all these poems. And I said I was going to write a brand new inspirational poem every day for 365 days. And that's what I've done. And because of that, guess who's interviewing me? The fantastic Lisa Marie Cook. If I never made that decision, would I be here?
No.
No.
Who
When
knows?
you make a decision, when you commit to that decision, all kinds of things positive show up in your life to support that decision.
Right.
And there are negative things to show up too that seems to test your decision. And that's when you know, when you skate through all the negative stuff, that's when you know you made the decision and nothing's going to get in your way.
For sure. Yeah.
There you go. That's where it all came about.
Okay, that's really cool. So at the end of the year, are you going to do it again next year? Or
I don't know yet.
okay,
I do my best to put one foot in front of the other. I was
Sure.
guided to make a decision for all this year. And if it's there to do, well, then I will do it next year. But what I'm going to do is turn all 365 of these, probably more, because I've written so many, probably 450 of them, or maybe even more. I'll turn into an app.
Oh, very cool.
So people can buy the app and then they'll get an inspirational poem every single day. That will uplift and inspire them and make them feel good about who they are, about their life. Like you said in my intro, I love to help people to feel so good about themselves and fall in love with themselves and live a life they love. You didn't say that, but what you said was fall madly in love with themselves. And that's what I tell people all the time. If you can fall madly in love with yourself and your life, you're going to have an amazing life.
For sure. I agree. Yeah, it's so cool. You can absolutely.
Wow. All that noise that you might be hearing in the back, we are having a storm. I mean, it is coming down hard.
And where are you located?
What was that?
Where are you located?
I am in Albuquerque, New Mexico.
Oh,
you know, it's where Bugs Bunny always should have made that other turn. So it's like it's like my shirt here. If you can see it, it's me and Bugs, me minus the beard. And cool. Bugs, because I'm the feel-good poet. And there I am. Me and Bugs are best friends.
But now your poetry, that's not the only thing that you do. I mean, you've written several books, haven't you?
Yes, I didn't think about it, but I don't know. I'll have to go get one. It's in the other room. So I'm an author. I've written 2 personal development books. My most popular one is called The 24-Hour Champion, Becoming Free Through Self-Discovery. You can get it on Amazon or who's ever watching. If you want a signed copy, just send me an instant message of whether it's on Facebook or I'll leave my information. And then you can.
We have to put your information in the comments after we're done because this won't allow us to.
Yeah, no worries. We'll put it in. Yep. And so people can text me and say, hey, I watched your interview. I'd love a copy of your book. I'll sign it and I'll make a personalized note for somebody and send it to them. The books are $20. The shipping, because I don't overnight it, but I send it 2 or 3 day priority and it's $10. So it's $30. Now you can get it on Amazon. It won't be signed. And they often do it even cheaper. You can also get a Kindle version, but my book is a workbook. So let me be clear. Every chapter, including the introduction, asks a ton of questions to help you figure out your own answers. Because I don't know you, but I know the questions to ask to help you figure out who you are. So that's what it's about. It's 9 chapters that looks at 9 different areas in your life. How did you figure out, how did you get to be the person you are now? That's like chapter 1. That's about how you developed your identity. And then we have forgiveness and we have responsibility. And then we have how many people have said, I'm going to do one thing and then they do another. So I have a whole chapter devoted to that. It's called congruency. you get the idea. So it's all about all of these different things, and commitment and action and love and following your intuition and all of that. And if you can do all those things, my goodness gracious me, if you love yourself, oh my God, it's the greatest thing you could ever do. Love and believe and value and respect and honor and cherish yourself like you had a kid. Like I ask people all the time, look, you have a kid, right? And the ones who do, like if you have a kid, you love that kid with everything you got. Do you feel that same way about yourself? If the answer is no, then we go to work to find out why. Because if they don't love themselves on that level, there's an issue. And that issue will stop them in every area of their life. That's what creates fear. Fear of the unknown, fear of rejection, fear of failure, fear of success, all of that. But when you love yourself like a kid who falls down, he doesn't look around or she doesn't look around and wonder who's looking at him and then is afraid to stand up again. But adults, they fail once or twice. They look all around. They think, who's making fun of me? And they go, all right, I'm done. I don't want to do it again because they don't want to feel that bad.
Yeah.
That's the point. They don't want the beliefs they have about themselves validated. Nobody wants to have outside confirmation that they're not good enough.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
So they avoid taking the risks in the first place. That's what the book's about. The other personal development book's much smaller, has like a quote on every other page, and it's called The 10 Biggest Lies, How to Stop Lying to Yourself and Start Living Your Truth. It's also available on Amazon. And then I have 2 volumes of poetry called The Possible You Volume 1 and The Possible You Volume 2. And the difference between them is this. Possible You Volume 1 was all about in my 20s, me writing stories, poetic stories and things to, as I was learning and growing and changing, I would ask these questions like about my life, like, why is my life like this? And then I would get these amazing answers and they would come to me in poems. And that's what The Possible You Volume 1's about. Great for young people learning, growing, great for older people who just want to learn about themselves as well.
And
that's
you know
number
what?
1.
We're not too old to do that because I'm learning a lot about myself right now. And I'm 62 years old. So you're never too old.
You are not.
No, continuous Kaizen, forever growing just a little bit each day.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Well, thank you. Volume 2 is more of what I put up every day. Inspirational, motivational, full length. They're all like 5 stanzas, 4 lines each. They're all like 20 lines. I'll give you an example of a poem that people love. This isn't 20 lines. It's much shorter, but it'll give you a great example. It's called Your Time Is Now. Your past has passed. It's over. It's through. Your life begins now. It's waiting for you. So go for your dreams, no matter how big they are, and never give up or settle for par. Just take the leap. There's nothing to fear. When you jump, your path will appear. For an amazing life, that is essential. And soon you'll be living your fullest potential.
That is amazing, Darshan. I love that.
Well, thank you.
Very, very good. I really do like that. That is so cool. Yeah. You just got me in awe here. I'm thinking to myself, okay, you know what? I want to ask you before we have time. I mean, or we can, kind of curb it either way. I don't know your schedule, but I do want to ask you the ultimate question. And what is tell me what your vision is. Where do you see yourself reaching the ultimate, whatever it is that you want to? I want you to talk so that I can see your ultimate vision.
I appreciate that question. I've very, very, very rarely ever been asked that. And I appreciate it so much because it, I want the answer that I give, not necessarily that people would, do my vision because they're not poets, but to think like in one of my poems, I say, think big, act boldly, and demand astounding success, and promise yourself to never settle for anything less. So when you talk about my ultimate vision, uh, I want to blow away what Dr. Seuss did.
Okay.
Like I want my poems to be all over the world,
Hmm.
in millions of people's homes. Whether it's just one poem, it doesn't have to be a book. But what if it was that poem? How many kids could be inspired by that? How many adults could be inspired by that poem? All around the world. You see, you've got to think big. I have an old saying. I didn't say it. I don't know who came up, but I just been saying it for a long time. I didn't come up with it. It's not that we set the bar too high and miss. It's that we set the bar too low and hit it every
Hmm.
time.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
thinking big because if I say I want my poem in millions of people's homes, I should say my poems in millions of people's homes around the world. See, that's a goal. That's huge. That's
Hmm.
worth shooting for. Because if I say, well, be nice if I sold 10 or 20 poems a month, who could get behind that?
Right.
You
Exactly.
know, I want to be on TV shows and sharing these poems and with TV shows, Steve Harvey, who's ever out there who's really influencing. I want to be interviewed by big influencers who have, millions of fans who will hear a poem like that and go, I must have it and
Hmm.
send it to me, please, and I don't just send it. If people ask me, oh, could you send that to me? I'm like, I could, but you got to pay for it because you don't go to your favorite restaurant and go, I love your food. Can you give it to me for free?
Yeah. Right.
Right. And so that's
People,
what I'm talking.
people, people have come to expect um, free stuff all the time, especially on social media. I mean, it has gotten so ridiculous. I think that it is taking the value away from so many people that really have a message or whatever. Do you know what I mean? Or I mean,
I do 100%.
they have a purpose, and I think it just cheapens that.
It does that and AI. People trying to create now with AI. It's really a changing world we're living in,
It is.
without a doubt.
I mean,
But but
I
you know
don't
what?
know.
Look, you made a point about it cheapens it, and everybody wants everything free. I post a very powerful, life-changing, life-altering, positive, again, inspirational, motivational, transformational poem every single day for
Hmm.
free.
Right.
So there's plenty of free stuff that I give away. But if people want me to do custom work or something like that, or they want the app, then they can buy the app when the app is completed and they
Exactly.
can get motivated. One poem can change their life.
Yeah. Yeah. I love it. It's very
A
interesting.
transformational poem a day keeps the psychiatrist away.
And Darshan is here. Yeah, right. He's here on Facebook. Just look him up, follow him, and be his friend, and check out. He does. He posts one every single day, and they're very, very good. In fact, I lose any words because it's just I don't know. It's just beautiful. Very, very nice. And so I'm curious now if somebody, let's just say, had an anniversary coming up and they wanted to, work with you to get a poem for their spouse or something and customize it to them. How how long would that take you and how much would that cost somebody?
Okay, so there's a two unknown variables in what you just said. How long will it take? It can take hours or it can take days, just depending on,
Depends on
you
your
know,
flow, I suppose.
yeah, it's Yes, part of that. It's the flow. It's because I don't rush anything. It's not like I'm slow. You could ask me to write something, and in 10 minutes, I could write something that blows you away if it's there. Or you could ask me to write something. I might have to think about it for a couple of days. Be, because when I say a couple of days, obviously I'm not sitting for 18 hours a day thinking about it, but I let it work on me in the background conversation, like in my mind. And then all of a sudden an idea will come and I'll start jotting down messages. So it just depends. Like if you said, hey, I have a deadline, I have a week, can you get me this poem? I know I could get it to you in a
Right.
week. If you said, I have a deadline in a day, I wouldn't say no,
Hmm.
because I've produced amazing work in a day. So it just again, it depends on the situation. Then how much would it cost? So
Hmm.
there's a few different answers to that. It just depends on what you want. If you want a full page, meaning 5 or 6 stanzas in a full page, I charge $50 per stanza. So if
Okay.
you wanted 5 stanzas,
Be
which would be 20 lines, $250. If
Mm-hmm.
you want 6 stanzas, $300. If you want 4 stanzas, you get the idea.
Right.
And that's the way that people can have custom work where it's affordable, and instead of just saying it's a flat 250 or $300. Does
Right.
that
Yeah.
make sense?
Yeah. Sure
It's
does.
they
Hmm.
can buy it. If you said, you know what, give me 2 stanzas, how much is that? It's $100. And I would go through it with you once it was done until you are 100%. And by the way, I've only had a minor tweak here and there, because when I feel it's done,
Hmm.
after people read it, they're like, wow.
Hmm.
Like, I'm not saying that for this interview.
No, I get
Like,
you.
I'm not bolstering any, I'm telling the truth. People are so blown away by how the poem makes them feel. And
Hmm.
that's why my name is the Feel Good Poet, because it really makes people feel good.
It does.
That's the goal.
Yeah. And that's what this show was all about. Making feel
Just
people
a
feel
chat. I love it. I love that name, by the way. I think
good.
that's great. Just the chat. Just a chat. I love
Yeah.
it.
Thank you. Yeah. The interview just seemed to, I'm not all that professional. I mean, I just got to chill, you know, and nothing has to be scripted or wrote out. So I don't care for that much at all. And I always wanted to do this, and that kind of leaves me the option to go a few different ways, you know, and not be so specific. But that is my main goal right now, is just getting people on here that are making an impact, and you are absolutely doing that, Darshan. So congratulations. I think that is amazing. And you know, people like you, I other people make them feel bad for like having to charge for their services. You know what? We have to pay for services for every single thing that we get. This is no different. No different at all. You know, and you are just passing on your strengths. You know, that's a strength that you have, and if you can help other people with your strengths, then that's absolutely what we should be doing. I am just itching really really bad from my bee bite yesterday, because I have been a mess this week, a total mess. I was feeling pretty good the day before yesterday, and I went outside for some air, and I walked right into a swarm of bees, and I
Ouch.
got nailed. And after dealing with my getting sick this week too, um, yeah, I had chicken pox. I should never have gotten that, but I don't know that much about it, but I'm learning anyway. So,
It's not fun to be sick, but I know this, and I know you know it too. well-being abounds. Well-being is your birthright.
Mhm.
When you have a dis-ease, DIS/EASE, rather than, I shouldn't say slash, I should say dash, DIS-EASE, dis-ease. When you have a disease, you can think of yourself, wait a minute, I'm supposed to be healthy, I'm supposed to be well, and I'm going to be well. And that's what's getting you through all of this so much quicker, because the fact that we're doing this interview in such a short period of time is a real testament to how well you're doing,
Oh,
not physically, but mentally and emotionally, to help your
right.
physical body heal.
If we have ill thoughts about anything, if something is not going right in our life, if there is a resistance of any type, that causes dis-ease.
Yes.
You are not at ease any longer if you have dis-ease. And that's what creates it is our thoughts. But if we do let our guard down and we do get sick, you know what? You can make yourself healthy too with your thoughts right there. So,
You absolutely do. People should look up the Miracle Man, Morris Goodman. If you could just Google Miracle Man, Morris Goodman, and watch the clip from the movie that was made about him. He was in the movie, the wonderful movie, The Secret, from like 22 years ago, whenever it came
yeah.
out already. He crashed his plane March the 10th of 1981 and broke his neck. He wasn't expected to even make it to the hospital, let alone make it through the night in the hospital. And I don't know yet. I don't know now because I haven't looked him up. But as of a few years ago, he was still alive from 40 years ago.
Oh, wow.
He wasn't, again, supposed to make it through the night, let alone walk, let alone talk. And he made a decision that 9 months later he would walk out of the hospital when all he could do was blink. His larynx was crushed. I mean, he was a physical mess. And sure enough, on Christmas Day that same year in 1981, he walked out of the hospital
That's amazing.
because of his mental
Hmm.
state. Because
Right.
he said, if the mind was that powerful for negative, I know it can be used for positive too.
That's right.
So look up the Miracle Man, Morris Goodman. Look up his movie clip. You'll see it's amazing.
I will. I will. That's very interesting. When you leave some of your stuff in the comments, would you leave that as well?
Yes,
That would be wonderful. I would like that very much.
yes.
Okay. Anything else you want to share with us, Darshan? I appreciate your time so much.
Well, I appreciate you. So I put my poems on every kind of format you can imagine. This happens to be canvas where you can hang it up. I can put them in frames. I can put them on magnets where you can hang them on your refrigerator, small magnets or 8.5 by 11 magnets. I can put them on glass that you can stand on a table or hang on a wall.
Nice.
Virtually anything you need, but I'm going to share this poem. Something told me to leave you guys with this poem. It's called
Oh,
a,
nice.
a No Limit Life.
Okay.
If you had no limits, what would you do? Really think about that for a moment or two. How far would you go? What heights would you soar if there were no limitations to stop you anymore? You can do far more than you even know. It's really just a question of your desire to grow. For the real you is limitless and cannot be contained. The real you is boundless and will not be restrained. That life is always there and it's just waiting for you to take responsibility and make it come true. So decide right now who you're going to be, then take inspired action to create your new reality.
I love that. That is awesome. Thank you. I
You're
love
welcome.
I like that very, very much. That that's going to be my poem because I'm gonna copy that down and I'm gonna post that on this video too. That's very nice.
I'm honored, and may it bless and serve whoever hears it from now on. Save the video, watch it, learn from it, grow from it, watch it multiple times.
Mm-hmm.
And when you hear the poem again, or the other one, Your Time Is Now, that I recited earlier,
Yeah.
may that
Yeah.
also bless and serve you.
Yes, for sure. I love it. Now you make sure that you leave all your information, your website, so because you have all kinds of things that you do, all kinds of avenues, streams of residual for you. Nice job, and we all should learn a lesson from that right there alone. That could be
Yes,
an
I have a nice website and
okay.
tons of stuff, tons of learning stuff. People can grow and learn in lots of ways, and it's all available. And I'm happy. I've been thrilled. Anybody who listens to this, if you're looking for some support, I'm thrilled to give anybody a complimentary 30-minute session to discuss the possibilities and opportunities about your life and about what you want. And if at the end of that time you want to work any further in a coaching format, I'm happy to help you with that too. If you want a poem, I'm happy to help. But I give for the people who reach out to me, I'm, like I said, thrilled to give that to anybody because I wanted to help them. And
Mm-hmm.
this way, if they reach out, it's not a sales pitch. Do I have stuff if they want to work further? Yes. But I'm really interested in helping you in this conversation that we have, which is why you called me. Does that
Right.
make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
Yeah.
this was so cool. Thank you, Darshan, for being here. And if you guys are watching a live or the recording, thank you so much for spending some time with us today. And make sure you catch the replay. And if you're here right now, make sure you come back so you can see all of Darshan's links, where he's at on social media, whatever he wants to share with you guys. And then you have easy access to that. So, Darshan, thank you again very, very much. I will make sure that you get a copy of this as well. And I guess we're out of here. Thanks, guys.
Thank you again. This has been wonderful.
Good. Thank you, Darshan. Okay.